Let's go!
Hello everyone, I'm Mari.
I'm Marti, and welcome to MARI&MARTIE. And yes, I am still sick, so sorry if my voice sounds weird.
In this video, we'll show you every single attack we made and the defenses we received on ARTFIGHT, with the proper credits and love for all artists will feature. So, what exactly is ARTFIGHT? It's a worldwide art competition with two teams. You join one of the teams, and you have to draw other people's OCs to attack them. You can also attack your own teammates, and the team with the most points wins in the end. I was on Team Crystals, and Marty was on Team Fossils. So Marty, do you want to start by giving our viewers a quick rundown on your profile?
So I was on Team Fossils, as Mari mentioned, and I did in total 17 attacks, which is quite impressive. I got 10 defenses, and I had 15 characters in my little roster of OCs. We'd be here all day if I had to talk about every single OC that I added, but basically everybody who has like a star symbol is part of our magical girl story that I'm developing, that being Leticia, Monica, Olga, Baldwin, Felicia, and Estelas. Then there's ones with a heart shape, which is from my Mermaid Melody AU, being Sophia and Johan. And then the ones that don't have marks are Eloy, Tem, Muse, Mishka, Flowester, Kai, and Sunny. The attacks I received from other people were 2 by Kai from Sunjirel and Cat the Bee. Then there's one of Tem by Yumikori, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. Then there's Estelas by Mari herself.
Hey!
Then there's Muse by Sparkly Puddy. Then there's another Leticia by Pinketeer. There's a Flowester by Charlie Barrett 13. There's Sophia by Boverde, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Then there's Felicia and Leticia by Mari.
Again.
And then there's Mishka by A-Bear. And the roster of characters I attacked were Callistra, Kaharis, Morgana, Ayla, Harry, Leslie, Noelle, Yukito, Fairy Boy, Nano, Anthony, Liliana, Ray, Apollo, Emmett, Judy, and Rory. By the way, we're only gonna show the speed paint of 3 of our attacks each, so yeah, we won't show the whole roster of, in this case, of the speed paints.
On our previous video, we showed our favorite attacks, and now we're just going to show other attacks that are also really good, or that we're just more proud of, I guess.
So the first attack that I'm gonna show today is Harry by Sparkly Puddy. I'm still kind of sad that I was unfortunately unable to draw the skirt that the character had in this outfit. They had no idea how to draw like the patterns that were in it, so I just decided to remove it overall. That makes me kind of sad, but overall the result of the attack, honestly, so good. I really like how I experimented with like a new thing of having the face, like the components of the face, like the mouth, the nose, the eyes, and the eyebrows, be of a different like line art color compared to the rest of the body. I think that helped a lot, like not mess up the lines and not confuse them as all one the same, you know what I mean?
I really like how the thick lines you usually use for your line art really help the viewer like distinguish and just understand the pose and the silhouette as a whole. Not only that, but I like how the character's hairstyle kind of like translated into your art style. I get why you're kind of like sad that you couldn't draw the skirt, but it's okay. It happens to everyone. I really like the colors you put on the background of this piece, and the hearts also are a very nice touch with the K-pop heart sign, hand sign, I guess. And I do think that the like faded brown you put for the facial features of the character really help distinguish them or just make them pop out better than the rest of the drawing. And I just pretty much think that this drawing looks very clean. And I also love how the background, again, is a bit more saturated than the character itself. This drawing looks very nice. You did a good job.
Thank you! Honestly, about the whole like color palette thing, I think it did bring a more of a harmonious vibe to it, with, you know, the vibrant colors on the background and also the line around the character did do like a good job to, you know, differentiate.
Yeah, the red outline, right?
The dull, between like the dull and muted colors to the more saturated, vibrant ones. For the second attack, I drew Yukito by Inkyo. Go follow their channel, it's really cool. They have amazing art, by the way. This is their, I think it's a fan child of their My Hero Academia OC.
Really?
Yeah, and I decided to draw him with his plushie, and I honestly can understand why out of all of the attacks that I drew, this one was your favorite. I think it's actually the only one that I drew full body, which is great. And the background having like the white spots and the bluish fade being the same color as his eyes is very adorable. And the color palette of, you know, the pastel green, yellow, and also blue in the eyes really does a good job, you know, giving this character more of that like childlike vibe. I don't know how to describe it, but I'm not really that good at drawing younger characters, but I think I did a good job, you know, drawing Yukito in that case.
Out of everything you did for this year's art fight, this has to be my favorite drawing. Out of the ones you did. I feel like you were able to transform this character into your cartoony art style in a way that made it so good. Like, even more adorable than the character already is. So the big ears, the like heart-shaped smile, the plushie, and also the fact that you colored the entire line art in a lighter color than just like putting it in the like regular black line art, thick line art you do, was a very nice touch. And I just think that you should do more drawings like this, because this just brings out her full potential, honestly. I think that's how I could put it. Not the biggest fan of pastel colors and lighter colors. I don't really use them in my art or OCs at all. But again, I love this. I freaking love this. I think it's so good. And I really hope the artist, Inkyo, like this. Original character design is so good. So good. And I don't know, I just think that your art style was able to give it a new, not meaning, but like, it's almost as if you made this character your own in the way you drew it so well. But like, so well. There's just one thing I noticed that I have to point out, as my inner graphic designer is haunting me. Because now that I saw this, I cannot unsee it. And like, look guys, I studied graphic design for 2 years. It was hell on earth. Oh, the little dots you did on the background are not centered.
Yeah, true.
And even though I think this is the best drawing you did, and I love everything about this, if the dots were centered, I would have nothing to point out, literally. But yeah, my inner graphic designer, my teachers, what my teachers used to tell me is like haunting me, like, things have to always be centered, which is something I disagree with personally, but in this case, I think it would be better if the dots were centered.
And for the third and last one, I drew Nano for Little Ghost Meow. I think that's how you say it. This one is quite simple. It's just like a simple like side profile bust shot, so I don't really have anything to say. Do you have anything you want to talk about?
I mean, yes, of course. The pink in the background was such a nice choice, considering how, again, pink is a contrasting color to green, is a contrast to green, the direct contrast, and I'm a sucker for contrasting colors being used in the same place, in the same drawing, whatever. So, pink and green. Let's go! But yeah, I love this character. I think they're very fun to draw, and you did such a good job drawing them. So, I like how the like angry facial expression is, again, cartoony, and the exclamation marks on top of her head are so good. But why are they the same color as the hair?
Because they are actually part of the hair.
Really?
Yeah, like just look at the character's reference sheet.
Okay guys, my bad, I just looked at the original character, and oh my god, it's so good. This just makes everything even better. What a good character. You drew them perfectly. Okay guys, it's my turn! Yippee! This is something Martie usually says in our videos, so I stole her catchphrase. Anyway, I was on Team Crystals. I drew 10 attacks, I got 6 defenses, and I only had 5 characters. The 5 characters I had were Liliana, Yudi, Aiko, Ayla, and Nora. Liliana is from my original story named Forever Ghosts. Yudi and Aiko are from the same universe, Karma Fighters. Ayla is my Pokemon OC, one of my most recent OCs ever, and Nora is my Dungeons & Dragons OC, and I'm also writing an original story for her. The defenses I got were Ayla by Martie, Yudi by Sumjirel, I hope I'm saying their name correctly, Ayla again by Sparkly Puddy, then Ayla again with Rufus, an OC from Molly Mock, by Karimus Treehouse. I feel like I'm butchering everyone's usernames. Then Liliana by Martie, and Ayla again by Hekos. Sketch was the favorite defense I got, by the way. Ayla was my most attacked character, and I mentioned in our previous video that I didn't really give people too many characters to draw for this year's art fight, and that's something I kind of regret, so next year expect to see a lot more characters in my profile, I promise. I attacked Kira, Ethel, Aloe, Estella's, Bespadar, I hope that's how you say it, bro, Kirik, Letitia and Felicia, Quasar, Eyelid, and Dandy. The first drawing I'll show you is, in detail, I mean the speed paint, right, is Ethel, or Ethel. Again, guys, I feel like I'm butchering everyone's names. Ethel is some sort of goddess. I don't know her backstory in full detail, but what I wanted for this drawing was for her husband to be included in the background. So yeah, the helmet you see behind her, and this piece I drew, is actually from Ethel or Ethel's husband. I like the overall composition I did. I feel like the background color with the sapphire blue is a good touch, since it's also used in her husband's helmet. And the only thing I kind of am not as proud of is the proportions of the helmet. I feel like I could have done a better job at that, because the helmet doesn't really look like it can fit into someone's head. You get what I mean? I feel like the eyes are way too high.
I really like the contrast between Ethel, the character, and the background. The background has more of this, it's silver, gold, white, and blue, meanwhile she is black, the saturated magenta / pink, and also purple in her eyes. It gives a great contrast, of color palettes clashing together, but not in a, confusing or very messy way. It actually harmonizes the whole drawing. Yes, I'm reusing that word again. I think I used it somewhere, I don't remember. But yeah, overall, very good. I really like how you did justice to not only, portray this character, how she is and who she is, and also her backstory, I think, with the whole husband thing. Yeah, it's pretty nice.
My second drawing is Aloe by the one and only Ginja Ninja. Ginja Ninja is probably one of our biggest role models and inspirations ever, especially MARTIE'S. And seeing their channel was actually what convinced us, one of the many people that convinced us to create our own art channel and to just keep pursuing art unapologetically. I'm not 100% familiar with Prism's backstory and characters, but I love Aloe. My drawing kind of made her look more like a teenager than a child, and I don't think that's necessarily a negative thing. I like that personally. I think it fits my art style. It wasn't necessarily intentional, but something I just went along with. And I also decided to include Apollo's star, the star he has in his glasses, in the background. Apollo is Aloe's father, and I really wanted to reference him in some way, and that's how I just decided to do it. And once again, I really like the white and very light beige, I guess, tones, along with the orange, magentas, and purples in this drawing, and I think it looks pretty nice.
I honestly really like the way you drew Aloe. She looks very adorable in your art style. Well, not adorable, I think she, in a way, was translated, from the small, childlike, version that we know of her. I really like how you made her more teenager and older. Maybe this would be a time skip, small time skip in the story where she's now a little bit older. And I think you did a really good job translating her into your art style. Again, your art style isn't really that, stylized. You like to do more realistic.
Semi-realism.
Not realistic, but a more of a, I don't know if I can say mature art style.
Edgy.
The background does a really good job, getting the contrast between Aloe's more, I don't know if I could say cool tones, but her main colors are the white and the lilac, periwinkle,
purple-ish tone,
with the slightly more creamy yellow with the magenta-ish red star. Does a good job, making her stand out.
And now for the last speed paint of this video, we have Estella's by Martie. Drawing Estella's was pretty hard, I guess. Not necessarily because of like the character design itself, but because of how the character works. So Estella's doesn't really have limbs, and I'm someone who draws almost not exclusively, but I rarely draw characters that are not human or humanoids. So drawing Estella's was a pretty good challenge that turned out really well. I tried so many different combinations for the background colors, not only that, but for the overall piece, and the final result was something that I'm really proud of. I know this is just like a rough sketch that I colored, but working on this sketch digitally really helped me correct some of the doubts and issues I had again in the original sketch, and just translate Martie's character into my edgier art style, I guess.
I'm actually surprised you decided to choose to draw them first, because actually out of all of my OCs that I, included on ARTFIGHT this year, they definitely have my least favorite design. It does not translate anything, in my personal opinion, about like what I want with the story that Estella's is included. And I feel like I mentioned in the previous video that the story is kind of now currently a bit on hold because I'm still not sure what to do with it now. So yeah, once I, decide to pick it back up again and finally have, new, more developed ideas for it, Estella's definitely gonna get like a huge overhaul, especially design-wise. But I really like how you drew them still. Like, I really like the contrast between, the yellow on their face, or in this case their star-shaped heads, like being more, there's a mixture of like saturated and more pastel colors throughout the drawing, and the background makes, Estella stand out a lot too, because, the blue to the purple gradient, and then the lines on Estella's are like orange and white. It does a really good job, actually, like, I think something that I definitely missed when designing them is definitely that you were also able to translate how, the limbless kind of like body and overall figure that they have way better than I did. And I really like how the, the little buttons like the stars and the planet, sun and moon are like featured in a really nice saturated color. Same with the crown. So yeah, I think you did a much better job at, translating Estella's more than me, in this case myself, who is, the creator of these characters. So yeah, good job.
And well, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you liked seeing our full experience and thoughts on ARTFIGHT.
And we will see you next year on ARTFIGHT, if, it is still up somehow.
Bye!
Let's go, let's move, side to side, let's go.